Okay, so we will get started right away, and I have my slide here. If you can see the slide, please place on your comment yes for me, please. Okay, I'm seeing some really good results. Almost everyone is able to say yes. Very good. Great. Okay. So today our lesson is going to be focusing on our creative writing. And I know some of you have been steadily improving in your creative writing. And hopefully after today, you will have a little bit of more help so that your writing can keep going more and more up. So our first slide here is telling us that we are going to start the introduction using a fishing game. Now, last time we used our random picker, we use our spinning wheel, so we're going to be working on that. So we are going to be selecting someone, and what I want you to do is I want you to choose a fish for me. So it's a fishing game, and we have a mini. So a mini, you can select, you can unmute your mic for me, and you can tell me which fish you would like for me to choose for you.
I will like number 5, Miss.
Number 5. Okay. Now, for this part, we are going to be having some sentences. When I remove the fish, I want you to tell me what kind of sentence it is. Okay, the sentence says, I won the prize. Now, try to remember what kind of sentence this is. You can unmute yourself, Amini.
It's a declarative, Miss.
A declarative. Is there a clue that tells you that it is a declarative?
It's telling someone what it did or how it won it.
Okay, very good. Another word for the declarative could also be a telling sentence. So for those of you who might say, oh, this is the first time I'm hearing, or I can't really recall a declarative sentence, it's the same as a telling. It means it's declaring, it's telling you something. And there's another clue as well. Can you try to recall what else makes a telling sentence a telling sentence? Okay, I saw Ziara raise her hand. Yes, Ziara, you would like to share? You can
No,
unmute
no, Miss.
yourself. No?
I
Oh, it
can't
was a
see it.
mistake. Oh, you can't see. Okay. I have, let's see. Kaylee, raise her hand. Yes, Kaylee?
The flag is red, blue, and white.
Okay, great. That is another example of a telling sentence. It's telling you. So it's important for us to realize that telling sentences tell us things, and they also end with a punctuation mark, a special punctuation mark. And in this case, it's a full stop. Now I'm going to select another person, and they're going to choose another fish for me. So we're going to go back again into our spinning wheel. Okay, and we are spinning our wheel. Okay, and our students to share this time is going to be we have Amari. So Amari, could you unmute yourself and choose another fish for me?
Number 4, Miss.
Number 4. Okay, so I'm going to be moving this fish. And your sentence says, come here. So I want you to think, what kind of sentence is that?
It's an exclamatory.
Exclamatory sentence. And how do you know it's an exclamatory sentence? Or what can you remember is an exclamatory sentence? Would you want me to repeat again the question?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so how do you know? What are some clues, or what is something that you can remember is an exclamatory sentence?
Never even know that exclamatory sentence.
I couldn't hear you that well. Could you repeat one more time?
Look, if you can remember what it means.
Okay. Do you know what an exclamatory sentence usually uses at the end? What kind of punctuation mark?
And I miss what kind of name. Come on, what kind of name of that? Hold on. That means whole name.
Okay, I think Amari's having a little bit of difficulty problems. There's no problem with that. I'll come back to you, Amari. Perhaps there's someone else who would like to volunteer to share what makes an exclamatory sentence an exclamatory one. Would anybody else like to share? Should I use someone from the spinning wheel? So let me choose one more person here from our. Okay, I'm going to choose one more person from our spinning wheel.
I see Danielson raising his hand, Miss.
Okay, great. Okay, so I'm going to stop the spinning wheel. We're going to go back to our slide, and I can ask Danielson. Yes, Danielson? You can share with us, what is it that you remember, or what can you tell me is an exclamatory sentence? You can unmute yourself, Danielson. Okay, so he wrote there, he doesn't want to speak. That's fine, no problem. It says it has an exclamation mark. Okay. The word would be exclamation. Okay, but good try, really good try. It shows me that you really are trying to think. Great. We're going to be moving with our next slide, and for here we have our topic for today, which is called show and not tell. So take 10 seconds, and I want you to think. When you hear someone say show, not tell, what comes to your mind? What makes you think, what am I going to be doing? So 10 seconds, and I want you to think. Show, not tell. Okay, so we have it show and not tell. So 10 seconds. Okay, 5 seconds. Great. I'd like you to share using your chat box. So I want you to write there what comes to your mind when you hear someone say, show, not tell. Okay, it says, Amber says, you have to explain what it is, but don't say it. Okay. Good morning, Amy. Glad to have you here. Okay, Kaylee says, okay, it involves a story. Yes, it is. It does involve a story. So show, not tell. What do you think we'll be doing? What do you think someone is going to do when they ask them, I want you to show, but not tell? So involving your story, what do you think that person is going to be doing? Show, but not tell. I mean, it says that you will write, yes. And what do you think someone will write? What will they say in their story? What will they write? Kaylee keeps saying, okay, Kaylee has mentioned a story. Yes, we will write a story. Okay. So, good morning, Alan. Thank you for joining us. Happy to see you here. Great. So, I know some of you, this might be a little bit new. Some of you might have a idea, but not quite sure, and there's no problem with that. So, if you have any questions, you can place it on a comment, and we will be moving on. So, we go to our next slide, and this one says our objectives. This is what we will be doing today. We are going to be working between telling sentences and showing sentences. And we are going to be using our sentences by giving a picture. So I'll give you a picture at the end, and we're going to be working on writing our showing sentences. So first of all, we are going to start that part using a video. And I'm going to ask Ms. Nirmala if she could share this for us.
Are you guys able to see? Are you able to see?
Yes, Miss.
Okay,
Yes,
thank
miss.
you.
No, miss.
No, miss.
Okay, just give it a moment. Hi, Kevin.
Miss, you can't hear good, miss.
Okay, so you were not able to hear the song one more time. I'm gonna try it from this side, Miss Narmida. It did show, but they garbled. There was a lot of garbling with the sound. I'm not quite sure why. So let me try from this side.
Sure.
Okay, Denelson said he saw the lyrics. Hopefully, I keep having having this problem with the song for some reason. Okay. I asked the rest to just try to bear with us for a little while, you know. It's just taking us a few. Okay, you should be able to see my entire screen.
Miss, barely ko here. Miss, kaso natin.
Miss, I can't see, but only hear little things.
Okay, some of you are sharing that you are having trouble seeing it and listening to it. Don't worry, there's no problem about that. Since we're recording, the video will be posted back so you can be able to click on it and it will be able to play properly and you'll be able to see the sound, okay? So don't worry about it, it's just a little bit of further introduction. Okay, we're going to be moving on and we are going to be going back again into our slide. Just give me a few. Okay, remember to mute your mics. So we are back here again, and the video was showing us basically, you see, show, not tell is a writing technique that creates a vivid picture in the reader's mind by replacing linking verbs with strong active verbs, and of course, by using more vivid adjectives. So it's a sentence, but it's a bigger sentence, a more detailed sentence. And we have our first example here. And I'm going to ask, we're going to use a spinning wheel for this person to read the sentence for me. So you will read the telling sentence, and then I will select someone else to read the showing sentence. And the person to share for that one is Dalia. Now, I don't know if Dalia is here with us. So I will choose the other person that was closest to Dalia, and that will be Kevin. Or is Dalia with us? I don't see Dalia, but I do see Kevin. So Kevin, could you unmute your mic and could you read the telling sentence for me? I think Kevin is having some problems.
Miss, you write it on the chat board.
He wrote it, yes, but I would like him to unmute himself, and if he could share, he could read it for everyone. So Kevin, could you unmute yourself and could you read it for everyone so that everyone can hear? Okay, so you're reading this one.
And he was mad.
Thank you very much, Okay, so our first telling sentence there that we have is Annie is mad. Now I'm going to select someone to read for us the showing sentence, and that person is going to be we have Jennifer. So Jennifer, could you read our showing sentence, this one? So you can unmute yourself and you can read the showing sentence for us.
Annie furrowed
Mhm.
her
Yes.
eyebrows, narrowed her eyes, and put her hands on her hip.
Hips.
It took all the control she had not to scream.
Very good. So Annie furrowed her eyebrows, narrowed her eyes, and put her hands on her hip to look it took all the control she had not to scream. So if you notice, our telling sentence was quite short and our showing sentence is more in detail. Now, showing sentences focuses on face, body, and voice. Looking at this example, if we look at the picture, we definitely can see that her face looks mad. We can see from her body that she looks mad. And though our picture cannot speak for us, but our sentence tells us that she did do something with her voice to show us that it's not mad. So, looking at her sentence here, what parts of the face were mentioned that can tell us, oh, she definitely was mad? I know she was mad because this says about her face. So we can write them in our chat box. How do we know that Annie was mad? What did you see from her face? What did she do with her face to show us that she was mad? Could you write it down for me? Okay, we don't have volunteers as yet. I will choose from the spinning wheel. So we want to know, what is it that she did to show us from her face that she was mad? We have Jalen. Jalen is not
Miss
with
Sonia,
us yet.
Miss
Yes, miss?
Sonia, Amini
Yes, Miss
said
Narmida?
she furrowed her eyebrow.
Okay, great. That's an awesome answer, dear Amini. Yes. So that is one of the things that she did do. I'm going to go back here. So Annie furrowed her eyebrows. That's the first clue that was given to us. What did she do with her face? Well, her eyebrows were what she was using. She furrowed her eyebrows. There's something else about her face that she did. Can I have another volunteer? You can unmute yourself if you would like, and you can also place your answer on the chat box. Kaylee as well added, she furrowed her eyebrows. I see Ninel has her hand raised. You would like to share, Ninel? Okay, Danielson says she narrowed her eyes. So if we go back, yes, very good. She narrowed her eyes. So that's the other part of her face that we know that she was mad. Okay, her eyebrows were not raised. If her eyebrows were raised, we would know that that is telling us she's either surprised, she's shocked. But this is the clue that we have from her face. Her eyebrows and her eyes. Those are the two parts of her face that were used. What about her body? What part of her body did she use? Her hips. Amber says her hips. Yes, that's correct. So she used her hips. And what did she show us with her hips? Was she dancing? Was she swaying her hips left to right to show us that she was mad? What did she do with her hips? Ah, she used a combination of both. She used her hips and her hands. Very good, Amini. Great. Was she tapping her hands on her hips? She put her hands on her hips. Very good, you know. And of course, in the manner of how she placed her hands on her hips, she placed it like she was very upset, right? Great. And then there's the last thing, which is our voice, the section of voice. So what did her voice do in the sentence to show us that she was mad? Does anyone know what did she do with her voice? I'll read the sentence one more time. It says, Annie furrowed her eyebrows, narrowed her eyes, and put her hands on her lips. Sorry. It took all the control she had not to scream. So what did she do with her voice? She tried not to scream. Very good, Ambrose. So you might say your voice has to do something. Not really. If you are frightened, you can whimper, make sounds with your voice. You can, tremble with fear as words started to slowly stumble out of your mouth. You can mutter little words. But of course, in her case, she's angry. She tried not to scream. And it could have also been the opposite. She could have shouted for all the world to hear, Then that could have been an example. Okay, so we move on to the second sentence. And I'm going to choose once again someone from our spinning wheel to read our telling sentence. And for this one, we have, let's see. Okay, we have Lee, but Lee is not here. So we are going to be choosing Danielson. So Danielson, can you unmute yourself and can you please read the telling sentence for me? Okay, Danielson, could you please read the telling sentence for me? You can unmute yourself and read this section for me here. Okay, I think Danielson is having some difficulties. Okay, I think he's having some internet troubles. No problem. We said that we will be having some of those. Okay, let me quickly choose someone else.
Miss, I love watching the rain from the window.
Okay, great. You could make it back. Okay, I love watching the rain from the window. Great. Now our other one is a little bit longer. So let me read this one for you. And it says, through the clear glass, I watch with my bright eyes as the shiny, glittering raindrops fell from the sky. I just couldn't control myself as my mouth grinned from ear to ear. I stood straight like a brave soldier, dear, without a word coming out of my mouth. So definitely, we can see what are the examples of the face. So who can unmute themselves and tell me what part of the face were used there?
The eyes.
The eyes are used, very good. And there it says, you know, that I watched with my bright eyes. So what did she do? She watched with her bright eyes. Is there another part of her face that was used?
Her ear.
Her ear? Not quite. You could try again.
Her mouth.
Her mouth. And her mouth actually says grin, which means like a big smile. And it was big and wide. It grinned from ear to ear. That must have hurt though. And then they did something with the body. What did they do with the body?
She stood as straight as a soldier. She or he.
Very, yes, very good. So the person stood straight like a soldier. And their voice did something. What did their voice do?
Nothing.
Nothing. The voice was silent. But even if it's being silent, that is still doing something. Very good. So we move on to our next slide. And we are going to be having a little bit of a brain break. Now for this one, I need everyone to put on their cameras. So everyone can put on their cameras. And we're going to have a little bit of a fun section. Okay, you will need to stand up for this one. All right, so what we're going to be doing, we're going to be using our bodies today, similar to for like our creative writing that we're using on showing and not tell. And we're going to use our bodies to show letters. So we're going to use something very easy. We're going to start off first, and then it's going to go in a little bit harder, okay? A little bit more challenging, not hard, challenging. So the first one I want to do, let us all make the letter F. So I'm going to make the letter F by twisting my body and making the letter F. Can everybody make the letter F for me? And I'm going to be peeping. Very good. We're making the letter F.
Which letter, Miss? F?
The letter F, like fish. Yes, F. Everybody makes the letter F. I'm trying to make the letter F. Very good. Awesome. Okay. Let us use now the letter C. I'm going to put my whole body like this. A C. A C. Great. All right. Okay. Can you make the letter? Could you give me an example, Miss Neruda?
The letter V. That one is easy.
That one is easy. I can just
Very
letter
easy.
V. Hey. Great. Great. And we will choose. How about the letter P? How many of you can do the P? So, I think I'll do this. You know, the letter P. Oh, very good. Okay, I didn't think about that one. P. Okay, great. Okay, great job, everyone. And that was just a little trick to get you guys up, you know, that you're moving. Okay, we can settle down back again. Okay, great. So we are going to be returning and we have our slides. And now we get to work on our picture. Remember, we're going to be looking at showing and not telling. So our sentences have to show us about this young boy. He's clearly at the doctor and he's receiving an injection. And I want you to look at his eyes, look at his eyebrows, look at his ear, look at his mouth and his nose. You can even see his cheek. So using those parts of his face, we are going to be writing sentences that will show us. We're going to be using our notebook. So if you don't have a notebook, there's no problem. You can also write on the chatbook, and I want you to write your sentence that is going to show us that this child is frightened. And then we will do our sentences that can show us his body. What did his body do to show us that it was frightened? And of course, what would his voice do? Ambrose has, he was struck with fear. That is right. That is correct. However, how did his face, body, or voice show you that he was struck with fear? So you have to tell me there, but you have to show me as well. Yes, Kaylee?
Miss Kelly to ask you something.
I can't see anything.
You can't see anything. Okay, just give it a little while. It's just loading up, okay?
Okay.
Okay, Danielson says his face looked nervous. Okay, how did you know his face looked nervous? What did his face do? Think about his eye. What does his eye do? What did his mouth do? What did his nose or eyebrows do?
Nothing. His eyes.
Okay, great, Ambrose. No problem. You can share. You can unmute yourself and share, Ambrose.
Mrs. Eyes was wide.
Oh, very good. So Ninel says, his eyes were very
He was
wide.
quiet.
Okay, very good, Mabel. Maybe so. Okay, maybe his voice when he got this, he's frightened. It was okay. His voice was speechless. No sound came out of him. That's a good example. Very good. What about his whole body? What about his body? What did his body do? Remember, he's frightened. So what would his body do? Yes, he showed an expression of fear. Remember, they have to show me though. How do you show fear? What does your body do? What does your voice do? What does your eyes, your eyebrows do when you are in fear? So look at his eyebrows. What is his eyebrows doing? Are they furrowed like Annie in the first picture?
Eyebrows was like up because he was frightened.
Okay, so his eyebrows were perched. We can say, were perched. That means his eyebrows went up. So his eyebrows were perched as he saw this huge injection. So that's telling us, okay, someone is frightened. Okay, it says here, Amini wrote, he was scared that his body started to shake. I love that example because there you are showing me. You're showing what his body is doing.
He was hugging his mother because he was frightened.
Okay, so Danielson said he hugged his mom because he was scared. That's good. You're telling me what the body is doing. The body, his body is, hugging his mom. But what part of his body is he using to hug his mom?
His hand.
His hand. So you would say his hands gripped at his mom because he was filled with fear, because he was scared. So you could use that, and that one would say, okay, I know exactly what his body is doing now. The hugging cells work, but you could say, his hands gripped his mom's, as the doctor approached him with a huge needle. So that's a good example there. Very good. What about his voice? Can somebody try and tell me what his voice would do? Oh, The
His
little
voice
boy.
was silent.
It could be silent. Very good. What if it was not silent? Can you think of what could happen if he was not silent? Have any of you been scared of getting an injection?
He would
Ah, good.
scream.
Very good. So sometimes you have to
Me,
put
miss.
yourself, you have to put yourself as the character and say, okay, how would I react? What would my voice do? Kaylee says, I would scream. You would scream until you couldn't scream anymore, you know. It's like his voice shouted to the rooftops that this pain would stop. Very good. Okay, so we are working really well there. We're going to continue now and we move on to our slide. Now, this part is going to be much fun. You guys are going to enjoy this. This is a little competition. We're going to have it of girls against boys. So girls, you are going to be the O's and boys, you're going to be the X's. And this is our tic-tac-toe. What's going to happen is that we're going to have volunteers for this one. And we will select people as well. You will read a sentence and you will tell me if it is a telling or showing sentence. And if you get it correct, then we get to select one of the tokens and you tell me in which number you would like me to move them. Okay, so for this one, we are going to start with the boys. And can I have a volunteer for the boys? I know I don't have as much boys in the classroom. So can I have a volunteer? You can unmute your mic. Okay. Ambrose, are you there? Oh, Denelson, great, Denelson. Thank you for raising your arm. Okay, so your hand, sorry. And we have here the first question. Okay, the first sentence here it says, his face looked as if she were excited. Remember, you can only use an X unless if you get it correct. So you have to think really hard. Remember, your showing is going to either show you by actions what the face, what the body, or what the voice does. Okay, it has to show you. If it doesn't show you what they did, then it is not a showing, it is a telling. So here, I want you to tell me. Her face looked as if she were excited. Is this a showing or this is a telling?
It is a telling sentence.
Very good. I know it says her face looked as if she were excited, but it did not show you how did she show that she was excited? What did her eyebrows do? What did her mouth do? What did her eyes do? What did her nose or cheeks do? So
Nothing.
excellent.
Did nothing.
It did nothing, so it's only telling you she was excited. It didn't show you she was excited. So we're going to move the X now, and you get to choose what number you want your X on.
Number 5.
5.
Number 5. So we're gonna place it here, number 5. Okay, girls, now it's your turn, girls. Can I have a volunteer read this for this first sentence here? Anybody wants to raise your hand or place yes on the book on the chat box? Sorry. Would anyone like to volunteer? Kaylee, okay, great. So Kaylee, you raise your hand there, and it's sentence 6. His entire body was shaking like a leaf, and he was holding onto his tail for comfort. Is that a showing or is that a telling sentence?
Telling.
Showing.
Telling. Is it okay? Which one?
Telling, miss.
It's a telling. Okay, and what makes you tell you that this is just a telling?
because he was shaking.
Okay, all right. Unfortunately, you weren't able to get this one. This one is a showing sentence. All right. But I'll still give you guys a try and get your point. So I'm going to ask another volunteer in your team, and I want if the person can tell me how they show the person, how it is a showing, then you guys still get a point, okay? I see some Amini raised her hand. So for this one, let's say his entire body was shaking like a leaf, and he was holding onto his comfort. Remember, showing involves the face, body, and voice. So which one did they use there? Face, body, or voice?
They use the body, miss.
They use the body. And we know they use the body because it's his entire body, and they also said his tail. So I will still give you a chance for this one, and I would like to ask you to choose a number.
I'll choose number 1, miss.
You'll choose number 1. Okay, so we are placing it on number 1. Okay, we go on to the boys. Another volunteer from the boys. I know I have Amari, I have Ambrose, I have Alan. Would any of you like to go? Or should I let the girls go again?
No.
No, Ambrose says no. Okay, Ambrose. This one says, her tongue was hanging out and her ears were perky. Is this a showing or is this a telling?
Telling.
This is a telling. Okay. This one is actually a showing, but I'll still give you a chance. Look at it with the girls. How do we know that it is a showing? Remember, showing uses voice, body, or voice. What did they use for this one? Did they use the face, the body, or the voice?
The face.
The body.
Because her tongue was hanging out.
So they use which part?
The mouth, because her tongue was hanging out.
Okay, yes, but which one? Was it the face, the body, or the voice?
Face.
The face. And of course, they use the tongue and the ear, which is part of the face. Great. So you still had an opportunity there. And I'd like you to choose a number for me.
3.
3. Great. We have 3. Okay, we move on to the girls. Can I have a volunteer? Let me see if anybody raised their hand or placed yes in the chat box. Okay. Kaylee has raised her hand again. But Kaylee, remember, we want to give somebody else a chance. Okay. I see Jennifer raising her hand. Okay, Jennifer, he was frightened. Is that a showing or a telling sentence?
Telling.
Telling. Great. That is correct. I'll move your sentence over here because we have finished that. And I want you to tell me a number so we can move for this one.
7.
7. She blocked you guys. All right then. Yeah, if she didn't get that one correct, you guys might have won. Yes. Okay. So Amari, I'd like to ask you for this one. It says her tail was wagging so quickly that her whole body was shaking. I'll read it one more time. Her tail was wagging so quickly that her whole body was shaking. So Amari, is this a showing or a telling?
Telling. A telling,
It
miss.
is a telling. I'm sorry?
A telling. A telling.
It is a telling. Okay. This one is actually a showing. But I will still give you a chance. So I want you to think, is it showing the face, showing the body, or showing the voice?
Body.
It's showing the body. And we know the body because it's saying the tail and was wagging and her whole body was shaking. Great. So I'll move this over here and you get to choose a number.
Make Amari go.
4, Miss.
4. Okay, the boys block you, girls, but you still have a chance. So can I have a volunteer for the girls? And I have here, his voice was scratchy and high-pitched. His voice was scratchy and high-pitched. Is this showing
Telling.
or is it a telling sentence? All right, we have Ziare.
Showing me, I'm telling Miss.
Okay, this one is actually a showing sentence because it's showing you what they did with the voice. It says his voice was scratchy and high-pitched. So we can tell that this person is frightened because it's scratchy and high-pitched. It's like, oh no, please don't do that to me. Okay, so that it's scratchy and high-pitched. And of course, what part of the showing is that? Is it showing face, body, or voice?
Voice, Miss.
Okay, so I'll still give you a point for that one. And where would you like me to move this?
I don't see the number, Miss. I can't see it.
Oh, okay, so no one can
Miss, put it
help
at
you
6.
for
6,
this.
Miss, 6.
Yes,
Which number is that? Number 6.
Yes, Miss.
Okay, so I'll have to put it on
6.
6. Okay. All right. So boys, you still have a chance. It says here, she had an excited voice. She had an excited voice. And this one is going to be for Alan. Alan. Okay, so this sentence, she had an excited voice. Is that showing or is that telling?
Showing.
This is actually a telling. It doesn't show us how she said that it was excited. Was she shouting? Was she squealing? So for this one, I'm sorry, we cannot give the point for this one. Good try though, Alan, good try. So we go back again to the girls. He spoke as if he were frightened. He spoke as if he were frightened. Maybelline, I saw you raise your hand last time. Could you tell me, is this a showing or a telling?
Showing.
This is actually a telling. It tells us he was frightened, but it doesn't tell us what his voice did to show that it was frightened. So sorry, you lost that point. Okay, we'll go back again to the boys. We say she was excited.
Telling.
Can I have a vote? That is a telling. Very good. Could you choose a number for me?
What? 8.
Number 8. Great. All right then. And then the last one says, Tiger's face was long, his eyes were wide, and his teeth were chattering. Okay, let me take a look at the girls. Okay, Maybelline. Okay. Okay, Jennifer, Amini, Kaylee, any one of you could answer.
Miss, if they lose this, we get their points.
Me, Miss.
Yes, if
Me,
yes, they can't get it. So, is this a showing or a telling? Tiger's face was long, his eyes were wide, and his teeth were chattering.
Showing.
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 Showing. Okay. Yes, it is a showing. So where do you guys move your 1?
2.
2. All right. So sorry, boys, they blocked
Number
you.
2,
But you
Miss.
try. Yes. So today's lesson was actually quite fun, you know, and I want to say a big, big, huge, huge thank you for your time today. You know, I know it is 8 o'clock in the morning is a little bit hard and challenging for you to be here, but I want to say how much I appreciate you being here. We will schedule another one for next week, and so just wait to be updated on that. Just check on our WhatsApp group for that one. But thank you very much. Thank you for participating. You know, good try, everyone.
You're welcome.
You know, both of you won. Both of you won on the tic-tac-toe. Keep practicing. Today, you are going to be working on your creative writing. Okay, I want to say best of luck for you on that one. Remember, just to use your little parts of that one.
Miss, this week we have our next one, Miss, our next meeting.
Miss, when will we